Councilperson Schaumburg,
Present.
Councilperson Picarella,
Present.
and Councilperson Massa.
Here.
Mr. Goodwin, you have the floor.
Do we need to read this?
No, you just,
Well, I think you all know why I'm here, to request rezoning of the property I wish to purchase to coincide with what has been done recently with other property in the area.
right, you just want to rezone it to make it match the surrounding area.
That's correct.
Excellent. I agree completely. All right. You guys have any questions? Thank you, Mr. Goodwin.
So, I'm sorry, just for procedure, so everybody knows, so Mr. Goodwin actually petitioned, planning and zoning for that?
Yes.
move?
I was going to summarize the actions to date here from planning and zoning.
Okay, that's what I wanted, go ahead.
So, there was a planning and zoning meeting Thursday, July 14th at 6:30, and the request was presented to the city to rezone 3 parcels, one 8.34 acres, one 9.1 acres, and one 0.029 acres, which are currently zoned M1, and all the surrounding parcels are zoned M2, and the request was to rezone them to M2, and planning and zoning unanimously made that recommendation to the council for adoption.
All right. Any public comment on that? Alex, you have 2 minutes.
Hello?
2.
2?
Yeah.
I've never done anything in 2 minutes, you know that.
Start talking fast.
Good evening, everyone. So the reason I wanted to make a public comment on this is, first of all, to compliment you. I think we all know what is underneath this set of contiguous parcels that are all getting zoned in one way so that they can turn into a nice industrial development, which will be very beneficial to the city. At the same time, you guys have heard the word quid pro quo. So there's a lot of quid going on at the moment. But we're sitting out there at the airport, and Larry, I'm going to say this formally to you, there's no pro quo. We are being nice. We're being constructive. We're being helpful. We're offering to move out. But what we need is to start having some conversations about where do we move our hangars, where do we move our hangar doors, who owns the hangar doors, and all the other things that allow 30 people who've been happily living there for 38 years in the case of the club that I'm a member of, the Bluebirds Flying Club. Yesterday, on Saturday, I flew down to Bismarck to see if it was suitable. We found some hangars, but we need to put the doors there. And today I start getting a whole gym tab from a certain Mr. Kennedy as to whether I can have the doors that I put on the hangars to go and find a safe place for us to move. This is not fair. So let's have some pro quo, please. And may I ask the city to help us to make that a reality?
Thank you, sir. All right. At this time, with no more discussion, public hearing for the petition for rezoning for Mr. Goodwin is closed. Thank you, Mr. Goodwin. All right. I call the regular council meeting for July 25th to order. Everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilperson Schaumburg.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I'll take a roll call for the council members attending for the regular meeting. Councilperson Bradley? Councilperson Kemfer? Councilperson Ginevra? Councilperson Becker?
I'm here, Your Honor.
Thank you. Councilperson Fisher? Councilperson Schaumburg? Councilperson Picarella? Councilperson Massa? All right. You're dropping things. All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda for the council meeting of July 25th, 2022.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Posting of agenda. Madam Clerk, has the agenda been posted, dated, and signed?
Yes.
Perfect, thank you. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the June 27th meeting.
I'll move to approve the minutes of the June 27th meeting.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on those? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Public comment. Mr. Castens, you may approach. The floor is yours, sir.
Your Honor, member of the City Council, I appreciate your time. I'm a pastor, but I promise I'll make this as quick as possible. My request, and we have some precedent here, is for street closure of a portion of Briarton Lane between Ward Terrace, and I want to be a little bit more conservative with my request than with my written request. I don't see that we necessarily need the section of street from Ward Terrace at the north all the way to 2nd Street North to the south. I think if the street closure were at the intersection of Ward Terrace, of course, 3rd Street North on the Bethesda side, really just down to the Sacred Heart manual parking lot, that would be sufficient for our event. The purpose for that is just for the safety of those attending the event. It's our closure for Vacation Bible School. We do have setup on the street. There'll be a bounce house and, of course, Vestas Pumper also using that location.
Okay.
So that's my request. And then one other piece of that is I'd like to extend the time for setup, so from 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Okay. All right, well, I'll entertain a motion. Are you done on that?
I didn't cover that one.
Okay. Do we need a motion on that
Yeah.
to close that?
If the police department has no objection, I'll make a motion to approve that request.
Perfect. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you. Is this an appropriate time to make the secondary, or is that at another moment? I can come back to it later date.
While you're here, I think it would be better. So, when I went over and introduced myself to Mr. Castens, he was discussing about the possibility of adding a stop sign for the 4th section of that intersection. I believe when you're coming up Ward Terrace, there's westbound, there's no stop sign. And he said that that causes some higher speed traffic to go through onto Festus's 3rd Street, which is going right past their preschool. So I just wanted to ask if Dan and the chief could maybe look into that and make a recommendation at some future time.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
have a good evening. Mr. Hill. You have the floor.
Well, thank you, Mayor, members of the council. I'm here to present again for the 7th year in a row. We're very happy to offer the Jefferson County Growth Association and Trailnet Bottleneck Bridge Ride. Kind of a recap, the Bottleneck Bridge Ride is really a way to promote tourism for our county. And it starts off with Festus, and it takes people through a very arduous, as I've heard before, it's flatter on the map kind of route, but it goes through all the wineries and breweries throughout the county. This being the 7th year, we have kind of made things a little bit different. So we have 77 miles for the 7th year for the longest route, and then 42, 34, and then we have 15 for a family route. Last year we had around 400 cyclists come into Festus, start off, and then go through Crystal. Everyone goes right down Mississippi, so that's like a really cool photo spot for everybody. And then goes out on their merry way throughout the rest of the Hillsborough, Peebly, and back to DeSoto and such. Our request this year, again, is one, to invite you, Mayor, to be a part of the Mayor Elite Cart with Mayor Richards and Festus. That will take off at 8 a.m. In the morning when the ride begins. And then that will go through Crystal, and then at the intersection is the support of the police department right there at the 61-67 intersection. Last year, we included a mass start, so everybody took off at once, versus in the years before, it was kind of a trickle as they came and went. And that just, I think, caused a little more confusion, because you might have 100 cyclists go one time and then 4 or 5. Where here, we get everyone out of the way, and then that intersection is done, and everybody gets off onto the back roads and everything. So requesting the support of the police department at that intersection, as well as for the mayoral lead cars again. August 21st, the ride will start at 8 a.m. We are anticipating up to 500 cyclists to come into town, and then participate in, last year we had kind of a breakdown of a third. You kind of look at all the different routes. We added a family route this year, which is 14 miles. It's not any really flatter than anything else. It had some hills, but we did that, and then along Main Street, and then down even towards Pedal and Pie area, there's going to be some kids' activities that are going to be going on that I know that we're working with right now. So we'll have the littlest cyclists to the experienced cyclists, and cyclists of all abilities and capabilities are invited. We anticipate from 8 a.m. and then by 4 p.m. everything will be done. All cyclists should be back in town, but everybody will proceed through Crystal City probably before 8:30, 8:45 at the very latest, and then they'll be into the other municipalities and such. So that is my request, an invitation.
Andy, where's the setup area? You said everybody's going to be starting at the same time. Where are they going to be starting from?
So parking and everything is back behind Main Street, and then up by the library in Festus,
Okay.
and everything's going to start right off on Main Street. So check-in and registration, everything is right there on Main Street. The city of Festus has given me the opportunity to have the street closed down from South Adams to Mill Street. Once again, so we have the street closed throughout the day. So then they'll actually leave, and then they'll return back on South Second or North Second, and then come back in on Pallier on Festus Main Street. So we just, everything's one big loop for each route.
Chief, did that schedule present any staffing concerns for you?
No problem.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Do we need a
We need
motion?
a motion to block traffic or anything, or we good on that? We need a motion on, I don't think we need anything.
I don't
Okay.
think so.
All right, moving on, check register and bills.
I will move to approve the check register and bills, and I will call your attention to one item, which is that we did receive a very small initial return from the use tax that passed. Very small, about which I intend to make some inquiries, because I'm not sure how that could be right. But
I noticed that. It's $3 and some change. $3.75, but we weren't supposed to get it until coming. Yeah,
yeah.
it was,
Yeah, but Mike and I are both pretty sure that we spent more individually in sales tax than that.
yeah, yeah, the tax on one purchase, yes. So we'll look into that.
Okay.
Mark that down. All right.
Anyway, I made a motion. Was there a second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? I think we did. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Committee reports. They're in your packet. Does anyone have any questions regarding the committee reports? They're all in there, so.
Did you want to invite Chief and Dan to say anything?
Yeah, Chief, you have anything to add to that?
No, sir.
Mr. Turner?
Nope.
I will say everybody is extremely busy this July. I've constantly been told it's the slow time, but our guys, our street workers, our police, our fire, they're constantly busy right now, and so we appreciate it. All right, council liaison reports. Councilperson Fisher.
The library's had a cooking program going on since June. The last one's coming up the first week of August, and it's been a big success, and that's all I have to report.
Good. Park, Ms. Schomburg?
I know that the park board got bids on a basketball court for the Hickey White Park. And we applied for a grant through the Jefferson Foundation, so we should know something pretty soon about that.
Perfect. Councilperson Vicarella.
I don't have anything for the sewer commission.
Thank you, sir. Planning and zoning, Councilperson Becker.
I'm getting my calendar here so I can tell you the exact date. There will be a planning and zoning meeting on August 11th, which, I'd like everybody to note, that's the second Tuesday, not the third. We're gonna change the regular schedule of those P and Z meetings because, if the council is only having one meeting per month, the turning things around between the third Thursday and the following Monday was becoming an issue. So, those meetings will be at the second Tuesday of the month at 6:30. And I believe there is a conditional use permit on there, and I cannot remember exactly what parcel it's regarding.
All right. Zoning appeals, Councilperson Janetti.
I have nothing.
Thank you, sir. Levy Commission, Councilperson Kemfer.
I have nothing.
All right. Does anyone in the audience wish to speak on anything related to the previous council meeting on June 27th? All right. Old business? Old business, we have none. New business. We have liquor license renewals for Tyrama and Iguana's Mexican Restaurant. I'll entertain a motion to approve the liquor license renewals for Tyrama and Iguana's Mexican Restaurant.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on those?
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
why are they out of sync with all the other liquor licenses? Is it just because they came in at a different time or something? Okay,
Yes.
all right, thanks.
Yep.
They're due by July 1. I don't think these were in by July 1.
Okay.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Dave Christensen, Cochran Proposal Engineering Service for Taylor Avenue, ADA Sidewalks to School Project TAP Grant. Mr. Christensen, you have the floor.
So I was talking to Jason, I guess a couple of weeks ago, there's a, new application coming out, it's a TAP grant. You guys know what STP grants, you've done TAP grants before also. So STP projects through East West Gateway, just to remind everybody and let people know who don't know, those are for road projects. So that would have been an STP project, would have been Mississippi Avenue, okay? That was the one we're trying to go for Bailey. We've gone for it twice, haven't got it, we're gonna go for it a third time, hopefully get it, so that's an STP project. So, through East West Gateway, they also have TAP projects every once in a while. TAP. And there's a lot more money in the fund this year than there has been in the past. What's unique about this TAP compared to the STP, so the STP, you guys can only get federal funds on certain roads in the city. Mississippi, Bailey, they're ones that are federally functional. There's only like 8th Street was an STP project that was eligible. So TAP though, it's a sidewalk safe route to the school, can be a local road. So it can be a local road, okay? Well, I've been working with Jason and you guys, and you know we did the CDBG project to do the ramps, and you guys are gonna approve that tonight with Jokers. And we wanna do another CDBG project basically with the idea of doing the I have a copy too.
It's in your packet.
I have it.
It's,
I got to tell Carol, I need to tell her one. So Taylor Avenue is a local road, so you guys can't get federal funds on Taylor Avenue, okay, through the STP process. But if we do a TAP project, you need more?
no, we're good.
Okay, so what I'm thinking here is it's a local road, it's an opportunity to get sidewalks done, get all your none of your ramps on Taylor Road are ADA compliant, okay, that's good. I mean, that's number one, that helps with the project. The sidewalks are not ADA compliant, and what I to be a 2% cost though. You got tripping hazards everywhere, you got trees going everywhere, it's kind of a mess, okay? So, also, if you're gonna do the ramps and you're gonna do the approaches, because you gotta make them all ADA compliant, you really gotta do the curves too. So that's why, you guys need what you care.
Yeah, we have the scope.
Since I printed it out, it's, you know, color, let's do the color. So what I'm trying to accomplish here with the map is to make Taylor Avenue ADA compliant, which really means rebuild the sidewalks, the curbs, the driveway approaches, and the ramps. Pretty much just like on Mississippi right here, except it's no road. Okay, I know you're gonna ask me, what about the road? Well, let's don't worry about the road right now. If we get the grant, we have options on the road. So if you go out there and look at it right now, you'll see there's a curb that's in disrepair, and then there's a joint. It's a bigger gutter section than that piece right there, but just envision we would do the curb and gutter. And then the 24 feet in the middle is not accounted for in this project. And that's something we have to address. Now, we could do just this project and leave the middle portion of the roadway alone. We could do that. But if we get the grant, we should talk about what we could do for that middle section. We could, you know, mill it down a little bit, put an asphalt overlay on it, we could take it out, all new concrete, we could take it out, put all new asphalt, other options. And that's a discussion that I think we should have if we get the grant. So the first question to you guys, so I looked at the whole city with this concept of trying to get you guys sidewalks, curbs, and a nice road. Taylor Avenue works because it needs to connect to an elementary. It needs to connect to a school, and the one that connects to an elementary on the 19th. If you do get the project, we will have to deal with the road issue, but that's a good issue that I think would be cool to deal with if we get to that point. So that's kind of just what's going through my mind. I know Jason wants another CDBG project again, just like the one you guys are approving tonight, to do other ramps throughout the city to get ahead of your resurfacing program. But again, the reason I chose Taylor is because it checks those boxes. It gets us close to an elementary school, it connects to downtown Crystal City, and in the application, there's all these questions. You get more points for more of these things. Making the facility ADA compliant is good. So I think it's a pretty strong project.
Dave, I want to ask you a couple of devil's advocate questions.
Okay.
The total project cost for this, including the federal and local, is $850-ish thousand. Does that seem like a reasonable price to you for a few hundred feet, basically, of sidewalk improvements?
Oh, it's not, you know, altogether it's almost, it's 0.7 miles.
7,200 feet.
Fine.
It runs down all of Taylor.
Yeah,
All
but
Taylor and the side streets.
But the side
All the
streets
curb.
already have.
you're missing the point. Like, that's a lot of money. And what the second part of my question is, I'm wondering if, you know, of all of the needs in the city, of which there are many, for our local matching part, that would be $306,878. Is that the highest and best use of our $306,000? I know.
For you guys.
Well, I know,
Bring you an opportunity.
and I'm not picking on you. I know the task you were given is find some way for us to qualify for one of these matching money projects. but it just, man, I have a hard time believing that's true.
Well, I guess my answer to you is.
And I love spending 20% of the city's money to get 100% of work done, don't get me wrong, but,
Taylor Avenue is non-ADA compliant.
oh yeah,
Right.
almost no place in the city is
Are
ADA
not
compliant.
compliant, you have tripping hazards, and if someone trips and falls and gets sued, that's $100,000 right there. Taylor Avenue's in disarray. This project gets you a brand new street except for the street.
Mhm.
It gets us a curb and a
Yeah.
sidewalk.
It gets you Mississippi Avenue except for the middle section, which isn't in too bad a shape. So I think,
The street's not
You're
too bad
including
shape.
2 foot on the street fronting side.
The curb,
I'm calling, yeah, you got your, this has in there the curb and the gutter, so you could call it 18 inches, 2 feet, whatever you want to call it, it's just not the middle section. So, is there other needs the city has? I'm sure you have needs to spend it elsewhere.
does it, the curb on both sides of the road then, I guess?
I do curb on both sides, sidewalks on both sides, all new driveway approaches.
On that section, Mr. Turner, is it only sidewalk on one side currently?
It's both sides.
Both.
So we,
Yeah, it's both
so we still have both sides.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions, Mr. Turner?
It's a lot of money.
Mr. Turner, would you rather spend $300,000 somewhere else?
I would love to spend $300,000 throughout the whole city. Yes. But-
Yeah, I mean, we could spend $300,000 a month and not get done everything that needs to get done, but is this a good use of that money?
The street department, I'm not saying the street department can do a job at this size within the time that you're gonna pay somebody. This is
Mhm.
two-year, 3-year project if we would have to do it.
Mhm.
With the 5, 6 guys that I have. I mean, honestly, I don't know if it's the best price bang for your buck. I mean, $306,000, we could overlay 3, 4 streets. So.
Yeah.
I had conversations with Turner, that's why he's here tonight. I just don't know, we still are, I'm all about free money, I love free money. And this would come out of it in 2024?
And this is a high estimate, I'm assuming.
Well, you would assume, but the way things did,
But we would,
good.
Yeah.
we would still be on the hook for $306,000.
Yeah.
I'm not,
As Mr. Picarella likes to point out to me, it's not free money. It's money that we've already paid in taxes that we're trying to recapture.
okay, well, I apologize. But, that's, any other discussions on
Yeah,
that?
the only thing I would say is not too to get money, federal funds on Taylor Avenue.
Yeah.
And I don't think you're not gonna
The
get.
sidewalks on Taylor Avenue.
Federal funds on Taylor Avenue.
Yeah,
We have a lot of kids
Are
that
gone.
Yeah,
travel to school on that sidewalk.
Driveways are bad.
yeah.
Roads.
Roads are
those
okay.
intersections that we did this year, last year, those intersections are terrible. So, I mean, that's something to add to.
My only 2 cents would be we have a lot of kids that walk to school there.
Yeah. And then on the saving side, it's not saving, but all of Mississippi Avenue ADA is done, so you've got 40 feet of sidewalk coming back towards this project.
Mhm.
That I think you'd save on too, just tying into that.
We're tying into Mississippi.
Yeah.
Right.
This is- all that whole side there is completed.
Yeah.
Okay.
The good thing you guys got is you do get the CDBG funds that hopefully you get every year, but as you can see, you're not gonna get the whole city. It's gonna take a
Yeah.
long time to get the
Right.
city.
Right.
And I know, I wish you guys had the money for the local. I just see this as an
Yeah.
opportunity for you on Taylor Avenue.
No, I appreciate you bringing it to our attention.
Let me ask you this, if, we apply for this and we get it, if between now and 2024, we decide that there's something that we need to do a little bit more urgently than this, what are we out, other than the application
The
fee
mayor
and,
writes I'll write a letter for the mayor, and he'll sign it, and we'll get the project back.
I mean, I don't wanna get in the habit of doing that, because then you'd stop getting awarded grants, but,
I've done that for a couple of cities, I don't like doing it either.
No, and that's not great, but I mean, so we'd only be out to 5,000 for your initial fee, or would that be the?
I understand that. I
Well-
understand that, yeah.
Right, but I mean, I'm just not 300
What do you think?
for sidewalks. I think, I mean, the discussions I've had with Mr. Turner,
Feel needed more other places.
Can we expect the use tax to start kicking in the next 6 months, though, that
I
maybe
can't
maybe we
promise
could
anything
budget
on-
more to the roads?
That's the idea, but we need to make sure that it's gonna come in at the rate that we were thinking it would.
I can't promise that money. period. I mean, the use tax will be used for roads and sidewalks and stuff, but I have no idea what it will be.
I'm just saying, if we did have that money and we could count on it, then it would probably make more sense to take advantage of the funding.
Well, once we have some idea of what that is gonna bring in on an ongoing basis, what I would prefer to do is bond out a lot of work all at once. If for no other reason than that way you control your, inflation risk.
Yeah, you guys can,
But,
I don't have a problem going ahead, go ahead with the application. We've got other projects, which I know we
yeah,
probably do. We can pull it. We've
That's-
never done it, but
yeah, that's what I would prefer to do. Go ahead and proceed with the application. Yeah.
Because we need the sidewalk.
I understand.
Sidewalks are gonna get done. The sidewalks will get done. Ms. Chair and I have had conversations, but it's a
You guys
timeline.
got a lot of tripping hazards and those ramps, you do have a lot of, you need to get after it, yeah.
I agree. I don't think anyone will argue that. I mean, I'm,
It's the low hanging fruit, that's why I felt like, yeah, this would be.
I agree with it. It's just,
Be done.
it's still,
I know.
it's, to get free money, we're still spending $306,000. So, well, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to proceed with the application for the TAP grant.
second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that?
We've already done it.
We've already,
I still disagree with that. If we, from what I just gathered, we're more than half probably not gonna do this. Why waste the $5,000
if we,
if we turn it down?
if that use tax comes in, I mean, and that's the thing, I don't,
I understand.
It gets time.
I understand. I say we reapply later, you know.
Well, there's an annual appropriations and decision-making process for this. I'd rather get our foot in the door now, and we might pull it back out
What'll
later.
happen is we'll go through the whole application process, and then you'll do the programming agreement like you always do, and that'll happen in about 8 months or 10 months, and, hopefully you'll keep going, but even, you can always stop. I mean, you can even open the bids and stop, and this is set up for 2024. If you wanted to push it off a year, maybe, 2025, so there's options, I mean.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea either of going into it thinking that we might not do it either. I mean,
right, I mean, that's the thing, I don't wanna go in there not doing it, but I don't know,
I'm not saying I wouldn't wanna do it, because I do wanna do it, but it's just the money situation.
yeah, you asked the question, can you, and the answer was yes, you can.
Yeah.
So how's that, we'll just leave it.
so we can reapply if we don't.
Well,
I have a
if you
motion.
Back in and reapply, I doubt you're gonna get it. I don't want to guarantee.
It gives us time, though, to get the application in, it gives us time to see where we're at.
So if we do back out, it's only a $5,000.
Yeah.
I just wanna clarify, 'cause there's-
If I do get approved, yeah, I'm gonna keep the 5,000.
No, and I'm fine with that, but there was additional, I think it was
So the way it's
40,
set up, the way it's always set up is that if we get the application, then we're under contract to do the engineering, the design, and and that's the way it's set up.
right, and that,
Again, I won't, if you guys stop and don't wanna do it in 10 months, I'm not gonna charge you anything.
right, okay,
If you
good.
keep going, if you just keep going, then we'll keep going, so.
I just wanted,
Hopefully you guys can find the money if we get it.
Yeah.
that's fine, I just don't wanna pay $76,000 for your engineering if we're not gonna go forward for it.
No,
That's,
no, no,
that's the
no,
next
no,
thing.
No, I'm not, no.
Okay,
The question that I would hope that money does become available somehow, some way, then the question is, how do we deal with the middle section of the road? Hopefully that's
'cause if
the
it,
next issue.
right, yeah, I mean,
That'd be a good one. To something.
I have a motion and a second to, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion carries. Planning and zoning recommendation letter to the city council to approve the rezoning of 3 parcels from M1 to M2.
Yep.
I'll entertain a motion to accept the planning and zoning recommendation letter to the city council to approve the rezoning 3 parcels from M1 to M2.
Actually, we have an ordinance on later for doing that, is that the same parcel?
It's the same parcel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then wouldn't it be more appropriate to vote at that time? Is there any further discussion that we need to have on that?
I don't think there's any discussion on that at all.
I wouldn't think
I
so.
don't know that we need to take a separate vote to approve it when we
Okay.
have an ordinance. 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Hopefully less than that. All right. Moving on to ordinances and resolutions. Bill number 1873-2022, an ordinance to enter into contract with Jokers Paving and Contracting to perform CDBG-ADA ramp improvements on various street businesses.
I assume this needs to be read twice tonight?
It does, sir. I'll entertain a motion to read Bill 1873-2022 on its first reading by title only.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and second. Any discussions on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, can I have the first reading of Bill 1873-2022 by title only, please?
Bill number 1873-2022 on its first reading by title only, an ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, authorizing the mayor, Mike Osher, to enter into a contract with Jokers Paving and Contracting to perform CDBG-ADA ramp improvements on various streets in Crystal City for $235,098.30.
I'll move to approve Bill 1873-2022 on its first reading.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to accept Bill 1873-2022 on its first reading. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Need a motion for
Oh, you want a motion for
the second reading?
Oh, sorry, I was reading ahead.
Oh,
I'll move to read Bill 1873-2022 on its second reading by title only.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, can I have the second and final reading of Bill 1873-2022 by title only?
Bill number 1873-2022 on its second and final reading by title only, an ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, authorizing the mayor, Mike Osher, to enter into a contract with Jokers Paving and Contracting to perform CDBG-ADA ramp improvements on various streets in Crystal City for $235,098.30.
I'll move to approve Bill 1873-2022 on its second and final reading.
A motion is, oh, sorry. I got ahead of you. I'm sorry, Pick. A motion has been made and seconded to approve Bill 1873-2022 on its second and final reading by title only. Any discussion? None. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. I will poll the council. Councilperson Bradley?
Yes.
Councilperson Kemfer?
Yes.
Councilperson Ginevra?
Yes.
Councilperson Becker?
Yes.
Councilperson Fisher?
Yes.
Councilperson Schomburg?
Yes.
Councilperson Picarella?
Yes.
Councilperson Massa? Bill number 1873-2022 now becomes ordinance 1873-2022. Is that correct, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Moving on, ordinance 1874-2022, an ordinance rezoning a certain tract of land located within the city limits. I will entertain a motion to read Bill 1874-2022 on its first reading by title only.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, can I have the first reading of Bill 1874-2022 by title only, please?
Bill number 1874-2022 on its first reading by title only, an ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, rezoning a certain tract of land located within the city limits of the City of Crystal City, Missouri.
A motion's been made. Oh, I'm sorry. We have a motion for it.
I'll move to accept Bill 1874-2022 on its first reading by title only.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to accept Bill 1874-2022 on its first reading by title only. Any discussion?
Just a comment, Mayor, again, for anybody who wasn't here previously, this is a request by the property owner to rezone 3 parcels from M1 and M2, and C2 rather, to M2 to conform with the surrounding properties.
That's correct. Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. I need a motion for this.
I'll move to read Bill 1874-2022 on its second reading by title only.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on those? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, may I have the second and final reading of Bill 1874-2022 by title only?
Bill number 1874-2022 on its second and final reading by title only, an ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, rezoning a certain tract of land located within the city limits of the City of Crystal City, Missouri.
I'll move to accept Bill 1874-2022 on its second reading by title only.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to approve Bill 1874-2022 on its second and final reading by title only. Any discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. I'll poll the council. Councilperson Bradley?
Yes.
Councilperson Kemfer?
Yes.
Councilperson Ginever?
Yes.
Councilperson Becker?
Yes.
Councilperson Fisher?
Yes.
Councilperson Schaumburg?
Yes.
Councilperson Picarella?
Yes.
Councilperson Massa? Bill number 1874-2022 now becomes ordinance 1874-2022. Is that correct, Madam Clerk? All right. Moving on to ordinance 1875-2022, an ordinance to enter into contract with Cochran Engineering for engineering, design, and grant application service related to the Taylor Avenue ADA Sidewalk to School projects. I'll entertain a motion to read Bill 1875-2022 on its first reading by title only.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussions? I think we've had those.
Yeah.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, can I have the first reading of Bill 1875-2022 by title only, please?
Bill number 1875-2022 on its first reading by title only, an ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, authorizing the mayor, Mike Osher, to enter into a contract with Cochran Engineering for engineering, design, and grant application services related to the Taylor Avenue ADA Sidewalk to Schools project -TAP grant.
I'm sorry, I should have made the same comment for this one as with the previous one, but I'll move to accept Bill 1875-2022 on its first reading by title only.
Second.
All right, a motion's been made and seconded to accept Bill 1875-2022 on its first reading by title only. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed.
We got him marked down. All right, motion carries.
I'll move to read Bill 1875-2022 on its second and final reading by title only.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on those? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, may I have a second and final reading of Bill 1875-2022 by title only, please?
Bill number 1875-2022 on its second and final reading by title only, an ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, authorizing the mayor, Mike Osher, to enter into a contract with Cochran Engineering for engineering, design, and grant application services related to the Taylor Avenue ADA Sidewalk to Schools project -TAP grant.
I'll move to accept Bill 1875-2022 on its second and final reading.
I'll second.
A motion has been made and seconded to approve Bill 1875-2022 on its second and final reading by title only. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed.
All right, motion carries. I'll poll the council. Councilperson Bradley?
No.
Councilperson Kemfer?
Yes.
Councilperson Ginever?
Yes.
Councilperson Becker?
Yes.
Councilperson Fisher?
Yes.
Councilperson Schaumburg?
Yes.
Councilperson Picarella?
Yes.
Councilperson Massa?
Yes.
Bill number 1874-2022 now becomes ordinance 1874-2022. Is that correct, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir.
Moving on to City Administrator's report. We have none. Mr. Eisenbach will be back in town next week. Mayor's report. That's me. I have a request for a stop sign at 3rd and Jefferson. Chief Helms and I had a discussion this morning. He brought it to my attention. We received a couple of emails from that. We had an accident there last week. Chief, you have anything to add to that?
I don't, we don't have a history of problems there, I did check
We need a motion to add a stop sign, or, I don't think we do, I think it's Turner. I like it. Thank you, sir. I like it. Moving on, trash is, you got a map here. You got two maps. One is where we dump at, Waste Management up at Kimmswick, and one is where the projected site that I was wanting to try out is at Timber Ridge out there. You have a distance. So your map, it says 16 minutes. That's how far away. 16 minutes and 13.6 miles is going up to Kimmswick at our transfer station, dumping there. And then the other map says 35 minutes and 28 miles. That is out at Richwoods, Timber Ridge Landfill. I was calling around getting some numbers. $200 a day is the conservative, $200 a day is what we would save if we add 15 minutes to their dumping. That's conservative. The number I had was Turner, was it 250?
260, but you figure we're adding miles, adding fuel side.
So,
Say 200, 220.
I think, yeah, 200 is a conservative number I came up with just on saving per day. The month of August, which every other Friday is a yard waste, which I didn't figure that in, but we were trying to set it up for the month of August. We should save $4,200, and we were going to try that.
How many trips do we make? One a day?
It's one a day, and we dump just over 6 tons, 6 to 7 tons.
$600 a day up at Waste Management. You know, we used to average 8,000 to 9,000 a month. We're peaking mid-13,000 right now. So, yeah, we're getting a lot more fuel, a little more miles, but we're paying the guy to be here till 3:30 every day anyway, so.
We're not under any contract with either one?
None.
I'm gonna
That's-
do a trial for the month of August, have a separate fuel sheet, separate mileage sheet, time, and see where we're at.
So,
How's the road out there?
just got redone.
Did
Brother-in-law paved that.
I got caught in traffic Thursday when I drove it, and it's all new. It is 2 lanes all the way out there, but,
It's a brand new road.
it's a brand new road.
I've been on the road.
The only thing
Yeah.
I see being an issue is if there's an accident on 67 anywhere out there, that's only one-way option.
I guess come winter time, could we always move back to Waste Management?
Yes, definitely.
It's,
I would not want to travel.
And I told them that, I'm in talks with Waste Manager Mike is too, we're trying to see if we can get cheaper prices from them. But if it's a holiday, double route day, we're not gonna have that extra 45-minute turnaround time. So we're still gonna be going to Waste Management, because you run trash till 2 PM some days, so.
I'm just looking at options to save.
Oh, I agree, but I wouldn't want to drive those roads.
No,
I agree.
but for nice summer weather, save $4
And I
grand.
thought we looked at that sometime in the last couple of years, and it wasn't gonna be in the money.
But since every time I turn around, I get a letter from Waste Management.
Yeah.
Fuel surcharge here, fuel surcharge.
Well,
The Waste Management, we go to a transfer station, they take it to a landfill. This place here, we're going straight to the landfill, we're not paying the hauling fees, the excavator fees, and the processing fees there, so.
That's,
There we go.
Well-
Do they own, Team School as well? Transfer
Waste
station?
Management does.
Okay.
So you're gonna pay the same transfer, yeah,
Right, 'cause yeah, it went up,
yeah.
right,
It
it's
used to
just,
be about $60 a ton, it's $120 now.
yeah, and the smallest was like 250.
Yeah.
Period, so.
right.
But I
So-
know,
And it used to be $40, so.
just for our small dumpster, I know what Waste Management charges, and I know what the other company charges, and it's unbelievable how much Waste Management thinks they can charge and get away with it.
Right, so we were just looking, Turner and I, for options, and this popped up, so, I mean, we're gonna try it, just to give you, I mean, if we can save $4,200.
$3 a gallon and then drop the prices back down, you know, I can see with us heat it's still going to Kingswood, but
Mhm.
if they just keep raising the price on us, and they know there's really no other options out there, so. The next option is driving to East St. Louis over by Gateway Speedway, so.
Right.
That's not gonna work.
No, but I think the Timber Ridge, try that out and see what we got. I mean, we'll see some numbers. I like to see the numbers, so.
Saving up to do the sidewalk.
Maybe.
400, couple guys.
Yeah, and then, I have you a list. You have the month of July, your bulk pickup. I would like next month, I know I brought it up last month, but I would like to associate a fee with the bulk pickup. I think that we're getting consistently 80-plus pickups.
So 61, the first week, which is in your packet, and then last week, we were around 75 stops. So I'm sure this Friday's walking in the month, we're gonna be around 60 to 70 again, so.
Do you think that,
And the bad thing is, it's the same address it's at. So, hey, this week, maybe start doing stuff in person, or whatever it is.
right? I would like to stick a $10 fee on it, because if it's $10 for me to come pick up a mattress, I would, but I don't, that's what that's what I would like. We gotta have an ordinance and everything done, that would be for next month, but I wanna have people talk about it and see, like, I don't just wanna stick it, but.
That's what I was wondering, if you have a repetitive problem, which you just said,
And a lot of
you've identified the same addresses, they're probably misusing the system, so.
We are. I think we're getting taken advantage of, and that's I just don't want, I think a $10 or $5, I mean, I just wanna, something, I mean, it's a mattress or something, that a dresser, it's worth $10, I feel, but that's something to discuss. We would need an ordinance, we'll have that so anybody in the audience will be able to speak, anything like that, so that'll be next month. That's kind of just what I'm thinking, so.
Good.
Definitely discuss $10 for one office chair, or $10 for a whole truckload of stuff.
Well, it's a 5x5 file, you know,
Whatever.
and the worry with that part now, just me and Matt dealt with the 104 12th Street today. People are remodeling their home, they've got kitchens, bathrooms all at one time, and you guys said you'll pick it up, I'm like, no.
We just don't, and we don't have anything on the books
Right.
to kinda, hey, it's a 5x5 square, and then we're stuck with trash everywhere, so we just need to clarify that. I don't know the actual great fix to that, but we'll just wanna talk to people and let our people talk and see what we come up with. That's all I had.
Can I ask a question? Could we, sometime between now and whenever we bring this in front of the council again, could we put together some numbers on how many of those bulk pickups are repeat customers throughout the year?
Yeah, I keep a log of them all, so.
And I had, the girls in the front started putting everything in an Excel sheet so we could track it a little better. Exactly, so they just started that this month. Shelley, isn't that correct? You just start this last pickup. There's one with a header on it, the second page, yeah. So it'll be easiest for us to track, but, I mean.
May give it where we need to be on our charts too.
Okay. All right, moving on to roundtable. Ms. Massa? Mr. Picarella?
No, sir.
Ms. Schoenberg? Mr. Fisher? Mr. Becker?
Just, everybody be careful when school starts back up, and I want to welcome Tom Shilley back to the chambers. I knew you couldn't stay away. That's all.
Mr. Ginevra?
Just a kind of an FYI that, there's been some discussions about moving the Historical Society, which is now over there, to the Girl Scout house, and, it's kind of complicated, but the school board has approved the move. The city would have to pick up the expenses of doing the renovation and the upkeep, which would mean like heating and cooling and all those types of things. So, I expect that we'll probably be discussing that soon, I would imagine.
Yeah.
That's all.
It'll be in discussions next month, I assume.
Okay.
Mr. Kemper? Mr. Bradley?
No, sir.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chair.
Oh, Mr. Chair, sorry. Do you have anything to add?
You woke him up.
I did, I'm sorry, I thought he was napping. Nothing, sir?
Oh, I'm sorry, nothing, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, well, everybody stay safe, and I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hey. Hearing none, we're adjourned. Yes, sir.
Where is this going to be, where I say this is in relation to the one you did a couple months ago?
It's due south of the, yeah, I can show you on this map.
South of what?
The airport. It's due south.
Of the airport.
Yes.
Kevin, could I email you a copy of the map that shows where this parcel is?
Sure, but what you just told me will probably be more helpful than me trying to look at a map.
I can show you right over there, this piece of property right here. There's, this is why it's all yellow.